Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's SAP Community Call on SAP Industry Cloud. I'm really happy to have you here on the call today. My name is Svea Becker, and I'm from the SAP Community team, as you might know me. And here with me today is Kai Finck. Kai is the Senior Vice President at SAP and the Head of Industry Cloud Program, and he has more than 20 years experience in the whole life cycle of SAP's products. So welcome to this community call today, Kai, and I'm really happy to have you here. And also, I would like to encourage everyone to raise your questions. So you have the possibility to raise your hand because Kai is really happy and keen to get the answers to your questions. So feel free to either use the Q&A during the session with writing your question, or you can just raise your hand and we will unmute you. Kai, the stage is yours, and I will remove my video now because the spot is on you.
Thank you, Svea, and good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you might be. My name is Kai Finck, as Svea just introduced me. And for me, leading the Industry Cloud program is really a pleasure. Why? I started some 20 plus years ago at SAP as an application developer in automotive. And the reason why I personally joined this company was not because I wanted to do the line of business, but I really wanted to go deep into some industries. And after a couple of years in various functions in application development in various industries, I also thought about, okay, how can I influence the outcome of my developments and the success that we're having at the market? This is why I joined then solution management. And yes, I did a little bit of a detour into line of business solutions in solution management, and later on also in the area of spend management, even to the field. But when actually the Industry Cloud program was founded, I was extremely keen on being part of this industry team again, because I could really play then not only all the breadth of the industries and the depth, but also really manage this end to end from a program perspective. And this was more or less almost a year ago that we introduced SAP's Industry Cloud strategy. If you remember, this was at Sapphire, where Christian Klein and the other board members formally introduced the evolution of the intelligent enterprise strategy. And there was one part of it that also played to an industry cloud. Of course, by that time, our offering was very limited because we announced a strategy. And as part of the strategy announcement, we were much more keen on really setting the direction. And if I now look in terms of what our competitors are doing, I can feel that we are really doing the right thing here, because many competitors really went also into the direction of industry cloud in general, where of course we were really having an advantage because of our rich expertise and long-term knowledge in the area of industry development. But why was it actually that at the beginning of the pandemic situation that we launched this strategy? So why was it so important, and why could we actually go into this? Why did we decide for this? And this was something where I always think about, okay, what is it that successful companies do in these years? Because successful companies have to manage both, not just the profitability of their current business, but they also have to successfully transform their business into new areas. If you think, for example, just the automotive industries, where on the one hand, we've got very known and successful companies producing cars, at the same time, completely new disruptive trends such as e-mobility, such as completely new business models for automotive companies arise. If you think about utilities, all of a sudden, it's not just that you as a consumer are consuming energy, for example, but you're also producing energy. So this is also something that has to be handled so that the same individual becomes what this industry calls a prosumer. And in this situation, and also fueled by the pandemic, what we can see is that there are some successful companies that are able to manage this, and others that have anyhow some overrun business models in place are really suffering. And this was something when we said, hey, on the one hand, we've got to think about how to optimize your existing business. I mean, this is what SAP is known for since the R1 days, actually, so that we are really making sure that the end-to-end processes of a company tightly integrated, running smoothly, and you can optimize them step by step. But what is required in these days is actually that we are also in parallel are supporting the transformation that I was just referring to. And not just as a buzzword, but that actually we also are cognizant of the two speeds that we can see here. So that while companies are optimizing their normal business, they also have to transform moving into something new. And this is obviously also something which we have different speeds of innovation. Think about a normal release change in the on-premise world, which could last sometimes years. Think about also what companies are doing as they're moving to S/4HANA in the cloud. But at the same time, there are new processes arising that require an immediate support. And this was then something that we also said, hey, let us also be cognizant of this when evolving our intelligent enterprise strategy. And there you have on the application layer, the intelligent suite, or you could call it also the S/4HANA plus line of business cloud solutions, such as SuccessFactors or Ariba or CX on the one hand. On the other hand, and this is the new category, is Industry Cloud, where actually we are going into the vertical requirements of a company, and in particular in the changing requirements. And this is also very important to understand. Industry Cloud is not just the traditional IS industry solutions that we've moved in the cloud, but Industry Cloud solutions are really playing after the new stuff, that what we call next practices that are adding to the intelligence suite, while the former industry solutions that have been modifying or non-modifying add-ons since the R3 days, this is part of S/4HANA now, so that actually both intelligence suite and Industry Cloud complement each other, are linked to the business network, and all of them are built on SAP's Business Technology Platform. So in essence, SAP's Industry Cloud is meant to accelerate innovation, not in the normal bread and butter business of a company, but really in the difference-making, competition-beating parts of what a company is doing. So if it's about, for example, customer service for IM&C companies, if it's about customer relationships in the utilities industries, if it's about multi-channel order handling for consumer products companies and retailers, this is where SAP's Industry Cloud is playing. And as I already mentioned, SAP's Industry Cloud is extending SAP's intelligence suite. So it's extending SAP S/4HANA or the intelligent spend management solutions or CX. So it's not somehow baked within one of the intelligence suite components, but it's really extending the SAP components there. And in a way that is meant actually to optimize, extend, and transform the core business processes. So where actually we have an end-to-end process like source to pay, for example, and we are extending them, we're optimizing them based on the requirements that this dedicated industry has. For us, it's very important because there are some competitors out there who also name themselves an industry cloud. Number one, there's only one industry cloud. SAP only has one industry cloud consisting out of multiple what we call industry cloud solutions. And the reason why I'm emphasizing this is that we are not just delivering technologies, but real applications that can be used by multiple industries. So for example, if you think about e-mobility, yes, that's an automotive play, but there are also some utilities companies that are looking at e-mobility from an angle. There might also be some manufacturing companies or services companies that have to manage a fleet of vehicles. And this is where actually Industry Cloud is one industry cloud where you can pick and choose these modular cloud solutions that are required to run your business, complementing SAP S/4HANA in the cloud or the other LoB Cloud solution. And the one thing that also makes me extremely excited is that these industry cloud solutions are not only built by SAP, but predominantly they are built by our partners. So I would foresee that going forward, 20% of the applications are built by SAP, but 80% of the industry cloud solutions are being built by our partners, be it the traditional ISV partners, also some service partners, startups, really an innovation place where this is all happening. And these applications are all built on the SAP Business Technology Platform. They are cloud native. They're not just an ABAP add-on to ... but they are interoperable cloud native business applications addressing dedicated business priorities of our customers. So let us double click on this, or let us better understand actually what Industry Cloud is all about and also how I would describe it, because there are three things that I feel are utmost important. That's number one is the question of speed. So it's about really making sure that innovation can be consumed by our customers fast. Second, it's not about just doing the next iteration of just-in-time, just-in-sequence logistics for automotive companies. No, it's really about what are the next practices that an industry is right now starting to embrace, next practices that are currently being defined, which is in the DNA of SAP's Industry Cloud. And third, it's about the questions, how can you connect the innovation across your company so that actually this is integrated seamlessly and is easy to deploy and to roll out. So let us look into this. So if I think about getting innovation fast, it's about really the top solutions that we are offering, we and our partners. That is the fact that it's deployed on one platform and consumable about one place. Looking into this, number one, we are serving 25 industries. And for us, it always has been a pleasure and our strength to bring together real top thinkers, inventors, and disruptors. And this is more important than ever for our customers and for our success. And as an outcome, it's about the delivery of targeted modular solutions from one place, and where actually we are establishing a community that is defining the strategy for your industry. And it's all about speed. It's about agility. And it's also one of the reasons, if you remember, the Intelligence Suite on the one hand, on the other hand, SAP's Industry Cloud, both building on the Business Technology Platform, that we must be independent of the release cycles of S/4HANA and the other cloud LoB solutions, so that a customer, a partner, or SAP, we can innovate fast with these modular solutions that are seamlessly connected to the backend system. And this means that we do not have to wait for any changes in financials or somewhere in the S4 system. No, we can directly have a fast innovation cycle in the Industry Cloud for the different Industry Cloud solutions. And one thing that I would like to highlight here, it's not now about just adding another store of apps or of templates or of technologies. No, what we did actually already 2 years ago, we started really looking at the various industries from an outside-in perspective, and we defined for us industry opportunity maps, where actually we see an industry moving and we're constantly updating these maps, and where we said, okay, what is it that SAP is really investing into? Where do we play? And where do we see partners that have the IP and that we are attracting to build on the Business Technology Platform, so that we have clearly defined where SAP is investing, and then also where we are working very actively with partners so that they are building on the Business Technology Platform, and that we're inviting them to address white spaces in these industry opportunity maps, as we are also opening up our platform for these partners. An excellent example of this is Cartinax. Cartinax is a consortium that is connecting the players and innovators redefining sustainability and speed for automotive. And it is a partnership which is sponsored by the German Ministry of Defense and is connecting top automotive OEMs, suppliers, and technology companies into one team. And this team is jointly building and operating what we call a business network for automotive. On top of this business network for automotive that spans along the complete end-to-end process in automotive from produce to use, we are then providing network-aware industry cloud solutions that support the entire value chain of an automotive company. And it is based actually on a digital twin of and the data that resides from connected cars. And if you Google Cartinax, you will see that this consortium is growing and growing. We are also well on track to deliver the first industry cloud solutions, network aware, that are the result of this co-innovation, and where more and more companies are there that want to enter actually also in this co-innovation as part of Cartinax. So this is one example on how we are bringing together innovators to really build new industry cloud solutions for what we call next practices. But one thing that I also emphasized already is the special role of partners. And this is just an example that we shared at Sapphire 2021, outlining the partners that are already part of SAP's Industry Cloud by contributing industry cloud solutions. And there are, as you can see, independent software vendors. There are some service partners, global service partners in there, some known long-term partners, but also very new, nimble startups that we have here. And one example where actually we see is the Pinnacle Award winner 2021, where Bearing Point built a solution called ETM Next. ETM stands for Equipment and Tools Management, that is really aiming at construction companies. And this is a cloud solution built on the business technology for requesting, planning, and dispatching and billing of equipment and tools throughout the complete life cycle. And the general capability was already part of R3, but it became more and more outdated. The way that this was run had nothing to do with the best practice any longer, and also not the next practice. And this is where we sat down with Bearing Point that wanted to build on business technology platform. And we said, hey, equipment tool management, there is a market for this. Look at this. Let's bring our brain power together, also the innovation ideas of our customers. And this was then something which Bearing Point built on the business technology platform, which we certified, which is accessible via the SAP store, and where we are now have started a joint go-to-market. I mean, the solution was brought to market, I think, in Q3 last year. We had the first wins in Q4. We have now the projects are deploying. So overall, this is an excellent example of an industry cloud solution that was co-innovated with SAP and customers by Bearing Point. And as you could see, the recognition from the Pinnacle Award 2021, this was really also an outstanding accomplishment. If you ask me, hey, 80% of the industry cloud solutions are there to be co-innovated by partners. The question is, okay, is there something special about these partners or about the status of these industry cloud solutions? And on the left hand, you can see actually the traditional roles that we have. We have build partners, that we want to attract building industry cloud solutions or include their existing portfolio here. There are service partners that should not only look at the individual cloud solutions, but really end to end from S/4HANA, adding then the industry cloud solutions. And then also we are ramping up currently our go-to-market channel. But more importantly, we have different types of partnerships. And there it's not a special industry cloud partnership. We are using the established business models that we are having to sell partner solutions. So it starts actually with validated solutions, spotlight solutions that are part of the SAP store. And then we're also getting into more and more managed partnerships of SAP endorsed apps and also SAP solution extensions, which are actually sold on SAP's paper. And we are very active in onboarding partners, guiding them through this, because certain steps also require certain certification. And in particular, those partners that are building on the business technology platform and not just integrating via the business technology platform are the ones that we are emphasizing and focusing on right now, also with the proper support from our architecture capacities. And I also mentioned that actually there's one place to get all this innovation from. And as you might be aware, we've merged the App Center and the SAP Store into the SAP Store. where that we also continuously enhancing now as a digital marketplace. And there, Industry Cloud is a dedicated section where we make sure that as solutions have been successfully co-innovated, where we have the first customers, and once we enter the go-to-market, these solutions also are part of SAP's store, along with all the supporting assets, demos. We are working on trials, so that this is easy to identify, to license, and then also to deploy via the SAP store. So if you want to see what is already there, just use this QR code. It will lead you to the SAP store with Industry Cloud solutions, and you can then start exploring these solutions. Second point, which is very close to my heart, is the question of what we're actually developing. It is not that we want to go into what I call the optimized space. No, we want really to go into these next practices, where we see hundreds of processes that are evolving. Also, in some cases, we're talking about innovation at the vertical edge, and we're talking there about all industries that are in there. And this is something where, again, we are getting a clear roadmap that links to the strategy and technology capabilities of the opportunity maps that I mentioned already. We are connecting with the right partners and also jointly defining roadmaps. And for us, it's very important that we are blending the continuous innovation with the reliability of our core system. So what does it mean in terms of best practices, vertical edge? So for some of you, this might be new terms. And if you look at here at the bottom, I mean, there are certain best practices out there for decades. So for example, if you think about accounting and financial close in the CP industry, also profitability analysis, CPA, COPA, long-lasting application or component, make-to-order manufacturing process in automotive, asset management and maintenance planning for utilities. So that's a best practice that is supported in an excellent way in S/4HANA, and where we are also adding new technologies to really optimize the processes. But if you think about transformation, if you think about next practices, then actually you would probably use in utilities, for example, asset performance management, or you would think about how you could do a financial planning and modeling across all your channels that you have in consumer products. So this is what we call next practices that we are supporting with SAP's Industry Cloud. And if you think about some what we call vertical edge processes, like, for example, self-healing assets or the human-machine interface and device connectivity that is outside SAP's normal software, this is something where we are in particular working with partners so that they contribute what is required for an industry overall. And this is where actually look at these prioritized industries here, where you can see what we are doing as best practices in S/4HANA and our cloud LoB solutions. Next practice is what we are doing with Industry Cloud solutions by ourselves and partners, and vertical edge. This is where we are also tapping into our partner ecosystem here end to end. All this, what we are developing right now, is part, of course, of our roadmap. And as you might be aware, SAP's roadmap so far only consists of SAP solutions with all the capabilities, also where we're extending existing Industry Cloud solutions. And this is something where we also have added in one way already the partner solutions. We are going to extend this even further so that we have one roadmap for SAP and partner solutions there. It's already part of our customer engagement platform, but also the official SAP Roadmap Explorer. We are close to updating this so that also this information then is part of the SAP Roadmap Explorer or the new solution. And then last but not least, about how actually we can connect this innovation across a company so that actually we make sure that integration is not just happening in the project and is lengthy and costly, but that we really deliver this as a built-in integration. So that actually we can extend the reach of existing data and systems and actually have a smooth process flow overarching. And this means that actually we want to make sure that there's a standardized way to do all this integration so that at the end, these solutions can be deployed faster without costly consulting projects there. And how are we doing this? Well, you might be familiar with this picture already. It is predominantly for us to stick to standards. Standards that have been set already for SAP, where SAP's Industry Cloud solutions are simply applying these standards. And this starts with the Business Technology Platform and the SAP One Domain model that is there, where we are making sure that the suite qualities are kept in the Industry Cloud solutions that we are building on the Business Technology Platform, that there's out-of-the-box integration, so that actually the Industry Cloud solutions built by SAP and the Industry Cloud solutions built by partners are seamlessly integrating into the end-to-end processes that are business processes that are there, and also into the business network. So this is for us the basis of everything that we're doing in SAP's Industry Cloud. It's not about now coming up with new standards. No, it's really sticking to the overall guidelines which are there, and in some cases also pioneering some of these standards, or of course influencing these standards in a very active way. All this is written down in our architecture and development guide. This guide was something that we introduced at TechEd last year, because we wanted to make sure that the knowledge on how Industry Cloud solutions are being built is not just sticking into the heads of our developers and architects. No, we of course want to make sure that our ecosystem, our Industry Cloud community is aware of this. And I'm pretty sure that this document has already or will be discussed in this round as well. We have updated the document since its release at TechEd. We are constantly incorporating the feedback. A digital learning journey is already available, so that actually this is meant to be the basis for all Industry Cloud solutions. And there actually you find everything that SAP supports, but also where we say, hey, this is something which might be a great innovation or way to do things, but it has nothing to do with SAP's Industry Cloud. So very worthwhile going to it and having this as the basis of what you're doing. By the way, as we bring our own Industry Cloud solutions to market, and as we are checking the partner-built solutions, this is also part of our checklist to make sure that we really have one interoperable set of Industry Cloud solutions that can work together seamlessly. And one very important part of this is also then, of course, the SAP API Business Hub. Again, this is our way to make sure that all the APIs are being published, that integration flows are there, that our integration packages, integration guides are really on this one place. And this is something where we are really driving the consistency that we want to have. With the next upgrade, you will also see a dedicated industry section, including Industry Cloud solutions, where then you can really drill down into industries like retail or IMC or automotive. Then you will see all the Industry Cloud solutions, the integration packages there. And we are also using this to standardize the way on how we are exposing our APIs, make sure that we are complete here, make sure that the Industry Cloud integration guides are standardized so that our services teams then also can create quick start packages for Industry Cloud solutions, and that this then can be used to manage down the cost and duration of the implementation of or deployment of Industry Cloud solutions. So in essence, if there's one slide that you could please put in the back of your mind, it's really how I always phrase SAP's Industry Cloud. So it's one Industry Cloud that allows you to get your innovation fast. It's about speed. It's about next practices. It's about transformation. It's about innovation. And it's really about connecting this innovation across your company. And this is something that we are driving as part of the Industry Cloud strategy, which our program is lucky to lead the pack here. Of course, in these days, you will also ask yourself, okay, RISE with SAP is such a massive undertaking where we are moving customers from wherever they come from into the cloud, leveraging S/4HANA in the cloud there. So where is SAP's Industry Cloud is all about? As I mentioned already, S/4HANA is including all industry solutions. So they have been merged into S/4HANA. So where's Industry Cloud coming? And the answer is Industry Cloud is exactly complementing RISE with SAP, because if a customer, for example, is on ECC or Suite on HANA, then doing the business process redesign, the technical migration, and then configuring your intelligent enterprise, it's always the question, okay, where do you make the difference? All this is about optimizing your business. How do you're actually transforming your business? And this is where SAP's Industry Cloud kicks in, yeah, and where we're also making use of all the services that we're having when it comes to industry advisory and customer advisory services, where it's about quantification of value cases, where it's about really a pragmatic delivery of the roadmap and facilitated by value realization. So also going back to the original business case and we see, okay, how are we doing against the benchmark that we set ourselves or that our competitors and partners are providing. Yeah. Now, as we are now almost 1.5 years in the race, let me also reflect a little bit on what have we done and how did we tackle the whole thing. Because at the beginning, yeah, in Q2 2020, we had to really introduce the Industry Cloud program. We knew that actually, based on the strategy announcement, a lot of pull would be generated. And this were actually, we really had all hands on deck to ramp up development, recruit co-innovation customers and partners for the initial industries. And we did the announcement of the Industry Cloud strategy, and we capitalized on existing solutions. We did this in a way that actually we had already some test cases out there, in the sense like also Digital Vehicle Hub or ITCM that we had started prior to the Industry Cloud program, but already in the mindset, in the spirit of the Industry Cloud. And this was something that we could use really then also as proof points that our strategy would work. And then based on a significant investment that SAP took, yeah, we started active co-innovation with customers and partners, started sharing the first proof points of new solutions externally. And we always thought about really how to land and expand, start small with the solution, grow it from this minimum viable product. Yeah, so instead of really having a full-fledged launch. Then in the first half of this year, it was about really celebrating the first successes and further scale the ecosystem and really do the proper go-to-market at the beginning. Yeah, all this, yeah, it was in parallel with continuous external communication, yeah, and also hardening of our business technology platform. And if you're also asking about, hey, what's Industry Cloud? It's an innovation space. It's a space on this platform where we are adding new Industry Cloud solutions, where we are also driving commercial innovation, as you will see next year, on how we are selling Industry Cloud, not just via the store, but also via consumption-based models. And then it's also about how we are standardizing the way we are running things, because if you think about 25 SAP-built Industry Cloud solutions coming to market in the next month, yeah, this requires scale. This requires a standardization of what we are doing, so that it's not about this solution does left, the other middle, the next one right. No, there's one way on how to consume, on how to deploy an Industry Cloud solution. This is a slightly different picture, but it was also important for me to highlight that it's also about focus. We focused on certain industries as we were announcing our strategy: automotive, consumer products, EC&O, utilities. We then added 3 more: retail, I&C, and professional services. You might have heard, not here on this slide, about SAP Pioneer, where we have banking and insurance, yeah, also as a kind of special partner joining SAP's Industry Cloud. I mentioned already TechEd last year, where our focus was really on the technology platform, where we had a hackathon for utilities, really innovating the first Industry Cloud solutions. Yeah, and now as we are in 2021, summer Sapphire Now is over. We are delivering now Industry Cloud solutions on 4 industries that we were focusing on, where we put really significant own investment into: automotive, consumer products, retail, and I&C, plus Industry 4.0, so that actually we can build the industry cloud solutions on the business technology platform, that we make them available on the SAP store, and that we really scale our business, but always having quality first before quantity comes. Yeah, so really focus on the value that our industry cloud solutions bring. And if there's a solution that is not performing well, then we also have to stop things, go back to the drawing board and start again. Now, in terms of path forward, what is it that is currently in my mind right now for the second half of this year in terms of priority? Number one, Industry Cloud is not on its own. It's always the combination with the intelligence suite. Yeah, as you could see from the first picture, yeah, our goal is to drive adoption for S/4HANA, be it in the public or private cloud edition, plus the LoB Cloud solution by delivering on the Industry Cloud business case. We have dedicated investment into our own application, into partner enablement, into marketing, to go to market. Yeah, and this is where we are delivering against our Industry Cloud roadmap, where we always are putting co-innovation first. So we are not building anything that is not co-innovated with the customer. Yeah, we are always looking at a great user experience and the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning and advanced analytics, of course. And for me, it's not just that I want to have a great application there. I also want to make sure that it's well integrated, yeah, in terms of out-of-the-box deployment, integration, leveraging API Business Hub, our quick start packages for all industry cloud solutions. And yes, these packages will not be available at the day where we are shipping the solution. We're always saying, once we've co-innovated the solution, we go into incubation, where we deploy it for the first customers. And if we are successful there, then we start scaling our go-to-market. Then we have to have these out-of-the-box integration really complete. Yeah. But at the same time, let's also be very clear, when it comes to standard development, what we're focusing on is SAP S/4HANA Public and Private Cloud Edition. If it's about integration to ECC and Suite on HANA, we have a strong services branch, or partners are strong service partners, so they should focus really on the integration to ECC and Suite on HANA. Then the question that I'm always being asked second is about, okay, what's about my industry? So when are you going to launch the next round of industries? And there we said, hey, we've got to focus, and we are focusing really on a few distinct industries: automotive, IM&C, utilities, consumer products, and retail. So these 5, plus some industry 4.0 cases. And the other industries are welcome to take a look into what is in the industry cloud for them. And there is something. Yeah, so for example, if you think about asset management, yes, of course, it's also not just for utilities, it's in automotive, it's for oil and gas, yeah, it's for defense and security. So you can use these industry cloud solutions also in other industries. And this is where we said, hey, we are going to focus our efforts for industry cloud on the 5+1 industries that I mentioned earlier on. But of course, we are also, if you look at this from the industry's perspective, not part of these 5 industries, then we are looking into, hey, how can I make use of these industry cloud solutions? How can I have a dedicated go-to-market for this? How can I build a partner strategy also for this? Because in these cases, industry cloud is much more than a partner play. And this leads me to the third point, a vibrant industry cloud ecosystem, so that we are building the resources, not just to manage the commercials of a partner here, but really make sure that we also have the right support when it comes to coaching from a technical perspective, from a development architecture perspective, that we are reserving capacity to build APIs, that we have a fast industry cloud readiness assessment for these partners that we want to come out, so that we can really become able to provide the 80% of the industry cloud or industry innovation for our customers via partners in here. Across all the 3 points, yeah, I want really to make sure that we have an excellent end-to-end experience for our partners, for commercial buyers, and for customer IT. If I talk about partners, it's about the onboarding of a partner, the coaching that the partner receives. If I think about the commercial buyer, it's about really that these industry cloud solutions have to be be consumable or buyable really in the same way. And if I think about the deployment, then it's about where the customer IT has to make sure, or we have to make sure that the customer IT really thinks that this is an activation, is a deployment that is smooth, and where it's not about the old cumbersome way on how, in some cases, SAP used to do things. All this, of course, requires a team. And I'm really delighted to lead this team, and I'm bringing up this team to also show you how comprehensive we are doing this. So these people are the top people from their various lines of business. So really starting with strategy, product and engineering, where we have really Jörn, supported by Tore, that is driving the overall industry cloud execution in development. In ecosystem, we have Jan and Stefan, who make sure that the vision of the 80% partners and the superior support is really met. If you think about all the different pieces that are required to bring such a solution to market, we've got a solution readiness stream with Amra. Of course, we want to sell it with Jeff, with value advisory here with Martin and Jonka. Services, to make sure that we have really the quick start packages available, and that we also make sure that they can even become part of the subscription itself one day, hopefully. Enablement, it's Rick, Petra for all the S and content. We need marketing, Helen communication, Anita, of course, strong architecture, Alex, and commercialization, money, of course, that's Bertram. And as you can see, this is really a program, where everybody is completely involved to make sure that we're hitting not just a number, but that everything that we're doing is really designed to be an engine, so that actually from really onboarding a new partner to shipping the solution, doing the commercialization, doing the demand generation, everything is flowing really like a soaring machine. With this, I suggest, that I pause here. I think we have 15 minutes left from what I can see. And Svea, I did not check the chat Q&A while presenting, but maybe you have some questions that you want to shoot.
Yes, we have. So first of all, thanks very much for the presentation and also about introducing the team. I think this is really helpful and interesting for all our listeners here today. So you talked about a lot about the different industries who participate now, like automotive and so on. Especially in slide 29, you talked about this at the end. And Angie Tran here is asking if there are any global companies you want to share with us.
You mean in terms of who's using?
Yes, not only the partner participation for the industry 4.0, but also which of the companies are participating.
So if you think about now the Automotive Alliance in particular, that would be, for example, BMW, it would be Schaeffler. If you look at Cartinax, there are all the companies being listed that are part of this consortium. At the same time, if you're now looking into where we sold our first deals, think about, for example, the Digital Vehicle Hub, which is one industry cloud solutions. There are big Korean customers like LG, for example, that are there. If I think about co-innovation in the utilities space, it's E.ON as a company, utilities company in Germany. If I think life science, it's Roche that is engaged here. Almost it's all vaccination producers for the COVID vaccine that are using SAP's industry solutions and industry cloud solutions, automotive, IMC. So actually, right now, it feels really in the best possible way it could feel.
Very good. Angie, I hope this answers your question. And Angie has also asked a second question here. In terms of innovation among SAP partners and customers, how do you see the hyperscalers innovation impact on Industry 4.0?
I mean, we recently had a session at Cloud Wars where actually a number of vendors were presenting kind of a bit of a race here. What was pretty funny exercise. And what I could see is that, of course, the hyperscalers are playing on data. So they are making use of the data via analytics, AI, ML. So that's their core competency. I have not seen in, I would say, 80+% of the cases, real business applications arising from them. A lot of them were great for analyzing, yeah, but not in terms of real applications. So, of course, the hyperscalers make use of their data access in terms of coming up with recommendations, process analysis in some pieces, but not in that sense of a business application, yeah, like, for example, managing your e-mobility or developing vaccinations as our clinical trial management as SAP is doing so.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Then we have an anonymous attendee who asked 2 questions. It was really at the end of the presentation, he or she said, I'm confused. Will it work with S/4HANA on-premise?
S/4HANA, we are integrating with S/4HANA Cloud and with the S/4HANA Private Edition. And the S/4HANA Private Edition is an on-premise version which is hosted. Yeah. So yes, you can also integrate with S/4HANA on-premise as we're integrating to S/4HANA Private Cloud Edition. It's the same timeline. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe the same person asked, because it's also an anonymous attendee, is the customer required to have their own B2P tenant?
Yes, it is required to have a BTP tenant actually to then also deploy your Industry Cloud solution, yes.
Okay, thank you. So we have another question, Gerard McCann. He asks, some software solutions would work in all industry clouds. Tricentis, it's a solution extension partner for testing, and Onapsis, an endorsed app partner for cybersecurity. What is the process to get them certified and make them a priority solution for all industry cloud offerings? Yeah. Tricentis is already very strong in retail, he mentioned.
So there is a dedicated partner edge section on where we're describing this. And there are 2 things. Number 1, you've got to get to the App Center, yeah, or SAP Store now. Yeah, and if you are an App Center partner, SAP Store partner, yeah, then it's already 1 step. And then we've also provisioned an Industry Cloud readiness assessment. This is a quick questionnaire. Usually we have a turnaround time of just a few days, yeah, to check it, and then we could take the next steps. Yeah, so these are the 2 things. Make sure you're signed up to the SAP Store, and then we are running jointly the Industry Cloud assessment, because, as I said, it has to be on BTP, the development architecture guide, if this is kept as required, yeah. And this is, for me, a collaborative effort that we then can undertake. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good, and I hope this answers the question, but it seems so. So he's asking another one, Gerard. If partners will provide 80% of the innovation, then Solex and endorsed applications needs to be offered in the public cloud environment. That is not the case today. No Solex or endorsed are certified or offered in public cloud. When will that change?
Yeah, and I mean, this is, of course, highly dependent on the individual partner. And there's for some partners, we are offering here as a first step that we have not the bid on BTP, but integrated with BTP, so that we're leveraging BTP to integrate these solutions. But at the same time, we're also working with these partners so that they, in their next evolution, then also can provide cloud native applications, yeah, and not just integrated via the BTP.
Thank you. Deborah Roy is asking if a single modular solution is applicable to single or multiple industries. How could we tweak or customize it a little for any client-specific needs if it's not an exact fit?
Well, I mean, that's partially part of a public cloud environment where the level of customization as we know it from the old days is not possible any longer. Yeah, so where actually standardization is key. Of course, there are certain ways that you can do certain things with BTP. I think where we are superior, but I mean, public cloud is about standardization. Yeah. So, and if I think, for example, about our new returns management solution, I mean, is the whole returns process modeled, yeah, and then there are some things where actually you differentiate via, for example, how you train your AI algorithms in there. Yeah, then probably you can, of course, extend it, but the core process of returns management, this is actually where a public cloud offering is meant to provide you standardization.
Okay, thank you. So we have 5 minutes left, so I think 1 or 2 more questions would work here. We have a question. What stage of the industry solutions will you see a coverage for all the hyperscalers +1? Currently, the industry solutions in incubation stage, primarily available, hosted by SAP +1, hyperscaler and limited to Europe. I don't get this with the +1, but maybe you understand this.
I can only speculate. I mean, the question is, or how I see it is, I mean, you can of course deploy the BTP application on various hyperscalers, yeah, and of course the +1 would be SAP, but I have no insight right now how the distribution is. I mean, what you have to see is, I mean, in retail, for example, a normal retailer will be extremely shy to deploy applications on Amazon Cloud, yeah. Yeah, and others, there are some preferences in some industries, yeah, but I have no insight right now how the distribution would look like. I mean, it's the openness that we are providing here where you want to deploy it, yeah, the 4+1, yeah, the big hyperscalers plus SAP, yeah, but I have no insights into this right now.
Okay. Thank you anyway for trying to answer that one. So we have another question from Anna Vaga. How do you pick the partners for the projects? What are the main requirements to become a partner? It's more a general question.
Yeah. So I think it has a lot to do with the expertise. I mean, we are not looking for any generalist partner. We are looking really for the deep industry expertise. And if there is a partner, like, for example, what we mentioned with Bearing Point ETM Next, yeah, then actually, and we have this white space where we say, hey, it is in partner play, then it's about also kind of first come, first serve, where we say, look, if we trust you, if you have the expertise, yeah, then we also make sure that this is a claim that you can incubate your new solutions, and that we're also shielding for a certain time, so that actually we can treat a partner as a partner, yeah, to really start nurturing a new business. And this is where we have the opportunity maps, where we have our portfolio team, yeah, and our partner team that is there to identify these partners. We're also going actively into the partners, addressing them and saying, hey, what's about collaborating here?
That sounds interesting. Thank you very much, Kai, for all your answers here. And to the whole audience, I really recommend to have also a look into our SAP Community topic page and follow the tag so that you get notified if there is any new content in the community about Industry Cloud. So thanks everyone for joining today. Thanks to Kai for giving those insights about Industry Cloud. And I would recommend to stay tuned in the community. And yeah, hope to see you in one of the next SAP Community calls. Thanks very much and bye-bye.
Thank you and bye.